I was going to get into the world of mixers, and if you could get a little bit into it, explain that a little bit for the audience, and what happens and why it can be a serious problem. Though the proponents on the other side have been arguing that again 95% of it is all for good purpose, and one sort of also questions what is this really good purpose that needs so much of anonymous mixing in the first place. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, so it's so funny because right at the end there, you said the word that I think doesn't get mentioned enough. People tend to say privacy and anonymity as if they're the same, and they are not
Yes.
the same.
I
These two
agree
things are
completely.
very, very
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the point that is lost, because I do agree with the proponents, some of the proponents of mixers who say, look, if I am spending money, say in Bitcoin, right? At a certain point, there are very real privacy concerns. And actually, I was on a panel with the CEO recently who made a really good point, that because I was very much like, what is the privacy concern? If you're just your average Joe, if we're paying each other at dinner with our own self-hosted wallets that we have not used to scam anyone or commit any crimes, it would be nearly impossible for anyone to actually know that your address is you and my address is me, going back to our conversation earlier about how to stay off the radar of a blockchain analytics company, right? But he pointed out a really interesting thing, which was actually, if you've used Luma, the event company, or like the online platform that a lot of crypto blockchain events have been using, they started asking people for their wallet addresses as identifiers. So your name, your information, your email is tied to a wallet address that sits presumably at Luma. And if Luma were to be hacked, there would be tons of information that then attaches identification with your wallet address. And I thought to myself, that is the argument for privacy, right? Is that you don't want your bank account out there publicly identifying these transactions, who I give money to. And the privacy people always say who I give money to politically, or maybe I donate to, Planned Parenthood, or they love to use these kind of innocuous examples. And there is some truth to that, because at a certain level on an open blockchain, once an address gets tied to identity, that is a massive loss of privacy, right? Because then you can see every transaction that wallet conducted. The problem is when you say then it should be anonymous, because anonymity means that nobody will ever be able to find out who there is, and there is no record of who that is. In a privacy world, the public would not be able to see that that's my address. In a privacy world, there would be some record somewhere that law enforcement or governments or people with the necessary legal orders to get that information would be able to say, okay, but now this address has done something wrong and we need to know who it is. So cough up now who it is. That's privacy. The problem with anonymity is if you never collected that information and there's no way to ever attribute that, and it's actually truly anonymous, and law enforcement and government agencies can never find that out. We've been calling that for years the going dark problem. It's been happening in segments of tech wherever there's been kind of like encryption at a certain level. And it's a massive problem when you think about the social contract of somebody commits a crime, presumably you would like for them to figure it out. Everybody thinks about privacy from what if it's my information being taken? But nobody ever thinks about it. What if I'm the victim and I can't figure out who took it? And that's, I think, a mental shift that we have to do is you should want privacy. You should not want anonymity.